One wrong move with your concealed carry permit, and you're looking at a lawsuit that could cost you everything: your savings, your home, even your freedom. And here's the terrifying part. Most gun owners have no idea they're making these mistakes until it's too late. Today I'm breaking down 5 deadly concealed carry mistakes that could get you sued or arrested. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to carry legally in every situation and protect yourself from devastating legal consequences. Just last month, 3 concealed carry permit holders were arrested in different states. All 3 thought they were following the law. All 3 were wrong. And what happened to them could happen to you if you don't know these critical mistakes. Mistake number 1. Carrying in prohibited locations without knowing it. Here's the most common mistake that gets concealed carry permit holders arrested: walking into a location where firearms are prohibited, even with a valid permit. And I'm not just talking about obvious places like courthouses or schools. Picture this scenario. You're running errands with your concealed carry. You stop at the post office to mail a package. You walk in, wait in line, mail your package, and leave. Congratulations, you just committed a federal crime that carries up to 5 years in prison. Under 18 U.S. Code Section 930, it is illegal to carry a firearm into any federal facility, and that includes post offices. Your concealed carry permit doesn't matter. Your good intentions don't matter. The law is absolute, and the penalties are severe. But it gets worse. Every state has its own list of prohibited locations, and they're not always obvious. In some states, you can't carry in any establishment that serves alcohol, even if you're not drinking. In others, you can't carry in any government building, including the DMV. Some states prohibit carry in hospitals, polling places during elections, or even private businesses that post "no guns" signs, and yes, violating those signs can be a criminal offense depending on your state. Here's a case from Texas in 2023. A concealed carry permit holder walked into a hospital emergency room with his legally carried firearm. He was there because his wife was having chest pains. Security spotted his weapon, called police, and he was arrested on the spot. He faced criminal charges, and his permit was suspended all because he didn't know that Texas law prohibits carry in hospitals. Here's what you need to do right now. Go to your state's concealed carry laws and memorize the prohibited locations list. Print it out. Keep it in your wallet. Because ignorance of the law is not a defense, and "I didn't know" won't keep you out of jail. Before you enter any building, ask yourself, is this a government facility? Does this location serve alcohol? Are there any posted signs? If you're not 100% certain it's legal to carry there, leave your firearm secured in your vehicle. But here's the thing that can get you in trouble, which brings us to mistake number 2. Mistake number 2. Improper vehicle storage. Let's say you're being smart. You know you can't carry it into the post office, so you leave your gun in your car. Problem solved, right? Not even close. How you store your firearm in your vehicle can be the difference between legal compliance and criminal charges. And the rules vary wildly from state to state. In some states, if your firearm isn't in a locked container separate from ammunition, you're breaking the law even with a concealed carry permit. In others, you can keep a loaded firearm in your glove compartment or center console, but only if it's not visible. Some states require the firearm to be in the trunk. Others say the trunk doesn't count as secure storage. Here's a real case that happened in New Jersey in 2019. A Pennsylvania concealed carry permit holder was driving through New Jersey with his legally owned handgun locked in a case in his trunk, unloaded, with ammunition stored separately. He got pulled over for a traffic violation. When he informed the officer about the firearm, which he's legally required to do in New Jersey, he was arrested and charged with unlawful possession of a weapon. Why? Because New Jersey doesn't recognize out-of-state concealed carry permits, and their transport laws are incredibly strict. Even though he followed what he thought were the rules, he spent over $80,000 on legal fees and faced up to 10 years in prison before the charges were eventually reduced. The lesson here: vehicle storage laws are a minefield. If you're traveling across state lines, you need to research every single state's laws before you cross that border. And even within your own state, you need to know exactly how your firearm must be stored when it's in your vehicle. The safest approach: invest in a quality vehicle safe that's bolted to your vehicle's frame. Keep your firearm unloaded when storing it. Store ammunition separately, and always check your state's specific requirements. Some states mandate cable locks, others require hard-sided cases. And here's something most people don't think about. If you're parked in a private parking lot like a shopping mall or your workplace, the property owner's rules can override your state's laws. Many employers prohibit firearms on company property, including parking lots. If you violate that policy and you're discovered, you can be fired and potentially face trespassing charges if you refuse to leave. Now, even if you're storing your firearm correctly, there's one interaction that trips up more concealed carry holders than anything else, and it can turn deadly in seconds. Mistake number 3, failing to disclose during police encounters. This mistake has ended in tragedy more times than I can count. When you're pulled over by law enforcement and you have a concealed firearm, what you say and do in the first 30 seconds can determine whether you go home safely or end up in handcuffs or worse. Here's the scenario. You get pulled over for a broken taillight. The officer approaches your window. You're carrying concealed. What do? In 12 states, you are legally required to immediately inform the officer that you're carrying a concealed weapon. Immediately means before they ask, before you reach for your license, before anything else. If you don't disclose and the officer discovers the weapon during the stop, you can be charged with a crime even if you have a valid permit. Those states are Alaska, Arkansas, Louisiana, Michigan, Nebraska, North Carolina, Ohio, Oklahoma, South Carolina, Texas, West Virginia, and Wisconsin. If you're in any of these states and you fail to inform, you're breaking the law. But here's where it gets complicated. In states without a duty to inform law, you still need to be incredibly careful about how you handle the situation. If the officer asks if you have any weapons and you say no, that's a crime. If you reach for your wallet where your gun is holstered and the officer sees the weapon, you could be perceived as a threat. Here's what happened in Minnesota in 2016. Philando Castile, a concealed carry permit holder, was pulled over. He informed the officer he had a firearm. The situation escalated rapidly, and Castile was shot and killed. This case sparked national debate about how concealed carry holders should interact with police. The correct procedure, and this could save your life, is this. When the officer approaches, keep both hands visible on the steering wheel. If it's nighttime, turn on your interior light. Before they ask for anything, calmly say, "Officer, I want to inform you that I have a valid concealed carry permit, and I am currently carrying a firearm on my right hip. How would you like me to proceed?" Then, and this is critical, do not move until the officer gives you specific instructions. Don't reach for your license. Don't reach for your registration. Don't move your hands at all. Let the officer control the situation. In states with a duty to inform laws, failing to disclose can result in your permit being revoked, criminal charges, and in some cases, felony prosecution. Even in states without these laws, the way you handle a police encounter while carrying can be the difference between a warning and a life-altering incident. Here's another critical point. Never consent to a vehicle search. If an officer asks to search your vehicle, you have the right to politely decline. Say, "I do not consent to searches." If they have probable cause, they'll search anyway, but you haven't waived your Fourth Amendment rights. Know your state's duty to inform law. Practice what you'll say. And always prioritize officer safety and clear communication. Now, even if you handle police encounters perfectly, there's one mistake that can still land you in prison, and it happens in situations where you think you're completely justified. Mistake number 4. Misunderstanding self-defense laws and the duty to retreat. You're in your home. Someone breaks in. You have your firearm. You're legally justified in defending yourself, right? Maybe. Maybe not. And that maybe could cost you everything. This is where concealed carry permit holders get into the most serious legal trouble. Misunderstanding when they can actually use their firearm in self-defense. First, let's talk about Castle Doctrine versus duty to retreat. In states with Castle Doctrine laws, you generally have no duty to retreat if someone unlawfully enters your home. You can use deadly force to defend yourself. But this huge Castle Doctrine doesn't mean you can shoot anyone who steps on your property. In duty to retreat states, you are legally required to attempt to escape or avoid confrontation before using deadly force, even in your own home. If you shoot an intruder and the prosecutor determines you could have safely retreated, you can be charged with manslaughter or murder. Here's a real case from New York in 2018. A homeowner heard someone breaking into his garage at 2 a.m. He grabbed his legally owned handgun, went outside, and confronted the intruder. The intruder ran. The homeowner shot him in the back as he fled. The homeowner was convicted of second-degree manslaughter and sentenced to 15 years in prison. Why? Because once the threat was retreating, the use of deadly force was no longer justified. It doesn't matter that the person was on his property illegally. It doesn't matter that he was protecting his home. The moment the threat ended, his legal justification ended. But it gets even more complicated when you're carrying concealed outside your home. In public, the standard for justified use of deadly force is incredibly high. You must reasonably believe that you or another person is in imminent danger of death or serious bodily harm, and in many states, you must have no reasonable means of escape. Mistake number 5. Not having legal protection before you need it. Here's the final mistake, and it's the one that destroys families. You carry a concealed firearm every day. You follow all the laws. You train. You're responsible. And then one day, you're forced to use your firearm in self-defense. You did everything right. The threat was real. Your life was in danger. You're alive because you were armed. And then the legal bills start coming. Even in a justified self-defense shooting, you will be investigated. You may be arrested. You will almost certainly face a civil lawsuit from the attacker or their family. And defending yourself in court, even when you're completely innocent, can cost $50,000 to $200,000 or more. Most concealed carry permit holders have no plan for this. They think, I'll deal with it if it happens. But by then, it's too late. You're sitting in a jail cell, and you can't afford bail. You can't afford an attorney who specializes in self-defense law. Your family is draining their savings just to keep you out of prison. This is why legal protection for concealed carriers exists. Programs like USCCA, CCW SAFE, and Armed Citizens Legal Defense Network provide coverage for legal fees, bail, expert witnesses, and civil liability if you're involved in a justified self-defense incident. Here's what most people don't understand. Criminal defense is just the beginning. Even if you're found not guilty in criminal court, the attacker or their family can still sue you in civil court. And in civil court, the standard of proof is lower. You can win your criminal case and still lose everything in a civil lawsuit. I'm not sponsored by any of these companies. I'm telling you this because I've seen what happens to gun owners who don't have coverage. I've seen families lose their homes. I've seen people go bankrupt defending themselves for doing the right thing. Here's what you need to do. Research legal protection plans. Compare coverage limits, attorney networks, and whether they cover both criminal and civil cases. Read the fine print. Some plans only pay after you're acquitted, which means you're fronting the cost yourself. And make a decision before you need it. Because once you're involved in a self-defense incident, it's too late to get coverage. The cost is typically $20 to $50 per month. That's less than most people spend on coffee. And it could be the difference between protecting your family and losing everything you've worked for. So let's recap the 5 deadly concealed carry mistakes that could cost you everything. Mistake number 1. Carrying in prohibited locations without knowing it. Check your state's list, and when in doubt, leave your firearm secured in your vehicle or at home. Mistake number 2. Improper vehicle storage and transport across state lines. Know your state's laws, and if you're traveling, research every state you'll pass through. Mistake number 3. Failing to disclose to law enforcement during traffic stops in duty to inform states. Know your state's law, and if you're required to inform, do it immediately and calmly. Mistake number 4. Misunderstanding self-defense laws and when you can legally use deadly force. Know whether your state has Castle Doctrine or duty to retreat. Understand the legal standard for justified use of force, and have a plan for what you'll say after a self-defense incident. Mistake number 5. Not having legal protection before you need it. Research coverage options now, because once you're involved in a self-defense incident, it's too late. Here's the bottom line. Your concealed carry permit gives you the right to carry a firearm, but it doesn't protect you from making mistakes that can cost you your freedom, your savings, and your future. If you found this video helpful, do me a favor. Drop a comment below and let me know which state you're in. I'm building state-by-state guides to help concealed carriers like you stay legal and confident, and your comment helps me know which state to cover next.